Plates ready? This is Food School, Smarter, Stronger, Leaner podcast. Want to feel amazing, love the way you look in the mirror, and perform your absolute best in the gym, at work, and in life? You're definitely in the right place. Food, it's you. It builds every single cell of you. And if there is one thing every human being must master, it's food. Because at the very least, eating, you do it every day, several times a day, every single day. You might as well get good at it. I'm your host, Shurina from Create Yourself That Today, your personal nutritionist and plate watcher, your diet guide and explorer, your fat loss coach and food inspector. And just someone with a lot of passion and obsession and curiosity for healthy food, healthy diets, nutrition, optimized human performance, everything and absolutely anything you put in your grocery shopping cart, your fridge, on your plate, and in your mouth. It's my business. Food School, on a mission to help you eat better daily.
It's the last time I talk about food. It's the last time I talk about food.
Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Food School Smarter, Stronger, Leaner podcast. Today is Tuesday, and as I promised, a lot of things we will talk about this week are going to be dedicated to cravings and to, again, nutrient deficiency, because we have this biological machine, human body, and it requires some inputs. It requires fuel, it requires minerals and macronutrients like fats, carbs, and proteins to function properly. And we're not some super gods that can survive regardless. We actually do need a lot of things to maintain health and performance and to maintain healthy weight and our emotional and mental well-being. And our body is a pretty complicated machine, and it does need a lot of things that do not come natural to us, meaning we might not think about those small things that our body actually needs, but it does need them regardless, whether we think it or not. So either know about it and act on it and enjoy your health and mental and physical performance, or don't think about it and just let it go and let food industry decide for you what you need or what you should be eating, and see how that works out for you. We kind of already see how that works out for a lot of people who don't have time to think about their own nutrition. That's why obesity, degenerative diseases are on the rise. Because, and I understand, you might not have time. People don't have time. We're busy. We have our lives, and not all of us have the time to think through all these nutrition nuances. So it's understandable, but I'm glad you're here and you are one of the people who actually does take the time, because you understand that your nutrition, your healthy lifestyle, those are the foundations of your health and wellness and amazing energy levels and the quality of your life. So anyway, without further ado, let's talk about cravings and how to deal with them, handle them, how to learn from them, what's most important to get more health and more energy and to also feel and look good, right? So cravings, a lot of it has to do with our mental issues, and we're going to dedicate a special episode to mental issues when it comes to cravings and mental reasons for cravings, and especially emotional reasons for cravings and how to deal with that. But also, cravings are caused by just simply our physical need for certain nutrients in our diet and in our meal plan. But that's also not black and white. Some people might get cravings for certain foods because they simply do not eat enough. There are people who just don't have those hunger cues. They just don't have enough hunger for the nutrition their body needs. And then they develop all kinds of cravings because the body is just not getting the things that your body needs to get. So energy deficiency, you might be stressed and you might not eat enough because of that. Who knows? Then you might not be eating enough protein, especially if you're a vegetarian, especially if you're vegan and you think that plants can provide everything. When plants can, but then you gotta really you gotta be really good at designing and planning your meals to get all the essential nutrients and proteins specifically from your diet. You gotta put some planning into it. You can't just winging. Guys, another thing I want you to pay attention to is the more you restrict your diet, the more nutrients or food groups you eliminate from the diet, the more thought you need to put into planning your meals. Because the more variety you have, the easier it is to get all the essential nutrients from your diet. And the more you take away from that variety by eliminating certain food groups, the more thought you need to put into designing your meals and making sure that you actually are getting everything that your body needs from the smaller pool of different kinds of foods, right? So your cravings, again, can be caused by energy deficiency or by protein deficiency or simply by sleep. It's proven that when you're sleep deprived, even one night of sleep deprivation, and by sleep deprivation, we mean here even 6 hours of sleep, that is already sleep deprivation when it comes to humans. So one night of poor sleep causes poor blood glucose and insulin balance in your body, and that causes cravings and that causes more hunger. So it's not even about food, it's about you not managing your sleep properly. And on average, people eat 300-400 calories more, specifically from highly processed foods high in processed carbohydrates and processed fats. So those are the foods people crave, and people have in general more cravings for all kinds of stuff, and they're more hungry, and their glucose is higher, their insulin is not as well balanced. So all kinds of problems when you sleep deprive yourself. And again, sleep deprivation is considered to be 6 hours or less. 7 hours at least is what you need for proper glucose insulin balance and to avoid cravings and hunger. So sleep is a huge thing. But then also there are certain micronutrients, like some of them you haven't even heard about, like chromium or vanadium. Those are called trace minerals, and by trace minerals it means that you need very tiny amount of them. Sometimes it's like 1 milligram, but you need them. And it was pretty easy to get them before, when most of our food was unprocessed, the foods that nature provided, with all the minerals and vitamins and macronutrients that we needed. We're product of nature, and the foods that supply the most nutrients to us and prevent cravings are the foods that are also product of nature. And when you do a lot of processing, eliminating stuff, or losing some of the nutrition, that's when you get in trouble, because then all the nutrients that were supposed to be in our food supply are not there anymore. And that's why people develop more and more deficiencies, because the food is processed and a lot of stuff is lost from our food supply. And people think that when they eat a lot of processed foods, they eat a lot of variety. There are all kinds of fancy products and in all these fancy packaging. But the thing is, most of the processed food is made of the same ingredients: corn oil, high fructose corn syrup, some wheat, some added protein or vitamin that this particular manufacturer decided to add to your food. And here you go, you get your food, but it has much, much less nutrition than whole foods that you would get eating whole and processed real food provided by nature again. So you can develop those deficiencies that wouldn't be an issue if you were just eating mostly whole foods made by nature. So what I want to stress here, and I want you to pay attention to, is there are different deficiencies. There are different reasons for cravings. Again, it might be sleep, it might be protein, it might be some micro mineral that you haven't even heard about, but because you eliminated some foods from your diet or you're eating a lot of processed foods, then you're just not getting it, even though it is easy to get. But today in particular, we'll talk about one mineral, one micronutrient that is pretty important, and more than 90% of the people are deficient in it. And again, just because people do not pay as much attention to nutrition and do not eat as much whole food of all sorts, variety. That's why we develop those deficiencies, not because it's super difficult to get it. So this important micronutrient mineral, it's involved in more than 400 reactions in your body. It's involved in glucose and insulin metabolism. It's involved in energy production, in DNA repair that your body does every single second, triplicating every single cell. So this nutrient is magnesium. If you're constantly magnesium deficient, you might be low on energy, you might have cravings, you might be cranky, you might feel anxious, you might not sleep well. There are a huge bunch of things that can go wrong because this mineral, again, is involved in more than 600 reactions in your body, and few of them are energy production, and every single tissue, organ, and cell depend on energy production. If you don't have energy, you don't have life. That's as simple as that. And then DNA repair. Every time your body does things, it needs to, very often it needs to replicate cells or replicate something else, and it needs to replicate the DNA, and magnesium is involved in that. And if you don't get that, well, guess what? Your body will create all kinds of deficient cells and organs and tissues. So it's very important process. So magnesium is super important. And again, most of the people are deficient. So I address this magnesium deficiency in possible deficiency because there is no actually side effects of magnesium. Like, you can eat a lot of it, and the only downside might be if you go to the bathroom, and that's the only downside of taking too much magnesium. And believe me, I'm probably taking magnesium in thousands of milligrams from my foods and mineral water and some supplements, and I do not get any side effects, but I do have more energy for life than most people. So get more if you can, as much as possible, from whole foods as much as possible. Stay tuned to my content on Instagram today. I will go shopping for magnesium-rich foods that you can buy almost anywhere in the world, and I'll show you how to really easy, through foods, get your magnesium daily, all the magnesium you need. Today, right now, I just want to mention a few foods that I believe are pretty cool sources of magnesium, and they happen to be, the richest sources of magnesium when you don't have to eat a lot of it to get all the magnesium you need. So let's start with my favorite. Cocoa beans, cacao beans, they're actually the richest in magnesium, one of the richest sources. You can also eat dark chocolate, but the reason why I love cocoa beans because they're the original source, and they actually have the most cocoa solids. They have 100% cacao, and they have the most magnesium per gram. So that's why I love them, and I just love to snack on them. They're pretty cool, even though they are quite bitter. But if you get them raw, they're delicious. Just takes time to get used to. Anyway, cacao beans or cocoa beans, they have per 1 ounce, 30 grams, 166 milligrams of magnesium. And by the way, guys, it is recommended for you to get no less than 400 milligrams of magnesium. And if you have already some issues with health, if you're already magnesium deficient, if you have any kind of issues with your health, especially chronic and degenerative, you gotta get more. That is for sure. Anyway, cocoa beans, 166 milligrams per 30 grams. It's not a lot, just 1 ounce. And again, the less cocoa solids your chocolate has, if you decide to go with chocolate, the less magnesium you're gonna get. When it comes to cocoa powder, just 4 tablespoons will give you the same amount, and it's quite a lot actually, 4 tablespoons, but I also put it in my hot cereal or anywhere I can actually. So 4 tablespoons of cocoa powder will give you 166 milligrams of magnesium too. Avocado. 1 avocado will give you 58 milligrams of magnesium. I love my avocados daily. When it comes to bananas, 1 banana will give you 37 milligrams of magnesium. Those avocados and bananas are not the richest sources, but they're the easiest to get, and a lot of people love them. So it's an additional way for you to get your magnesium. Seeds. Amazing source for magnesium. My favorite are flax seeds. Per 30 grams, I actually eat somewhere around 90 grams per day. So per 30 grams of flax, you're going to get 130 milligrams of magnesium. Pumpkin seeds are even better, 150 milligrams of magnesium. So flax and pumpkin seeds. When it comes to nuts, almonds and cashews, 1 ounce of them, 30 grams, will give you 80 milligrams. So for almonds and cashews, it's pretty much the same, 80 milligrams per 1 ounce. But as you can see, seeds are much, much better. When it comes to vegetables, your best bet is spinach. 1 cup of cooked spinach will give you 157 milligrams of magnesium. So spinach for magnesium, remember that. Sardines, salmon, an okay source for magnesium. They have some, not a lot. So sardines per somewhere around 6 ounces or 200 grams will give you 80 milligrams of magnesium, and salmon will give you just 65 milligrams of magnesium, but also a good source. I love all those foods like spinach, like Brussels sprouts, or sardines and salmons because they have so much nutrition combined in them, all the essential micro and macro nutrients and fatty acids, etc. So sardines and salmon also have magnesium. And then black beans is quite a good source for magnesium too. So 1 cup of cooked black beans will give you 120 milligrams of magnesium. So to give you an idea, to get 400 milligrams, more than 400 milligrams of magnesium, my favorite sources, like I eat an avocado almost every single day, so that's 58. I eat cocoa beans. It's 166 milligrams of magnesium. And flax seeds, I eat, as I told you, somewhere around 100 grams, 90 grams. So it gives me somewhere around 130 multiplied by 3, that's going to give you 390. So in just my flax seeds, I'm already getting almost enough magnesium. And I love my hot flaxseed cereal, that the recipe for which that is super simple and it's collagen enriched. You can also find on my Instagram. So to recap today's episode, cravings can be caused, well, first of all, mental issues can be an issue, and we're going to talk about it later this week. But then sleep can cause cravings, lack of sleep, and it does cause cravings in all of the people. So sleep, take care of that. Less than 7 hours is considered to be sleep deprivation. Protein deficiency can be a thing too, especially if you limit calories, if you limit a lot of stuff, if you're a vegan, vegetarian, just gotta take care of it. And then micronutrients, but then also, of course, macronutrients like essential fatty acids. Also, you're not getting them, you're gonna crave something. Or micronutrients or trace minerals like vanadium or chromium. If you don't eat a lot of whole foods, you might be deficient even in those, guys. And then some pretty important minerals can cause a lot of cravings, especially for sweets, for carbs. I did this research and asked a lot of people what do they crave the most, and most people crave sweets and sugar. They do not crave salt, even though sodium deficiency, if you're on a low sodium diet, can also cause cravings, but most people are not craving sodium. Most people are getting enough of that. Most people are craving sweets and sugar, and magnesium is one of the reasons why you might crave that, and lack of sleep too. So pay attention to both. And my best favorite way to get my magnesium, 400 milligrams of that, and much more. I drink my mineral water, I drink my supplements, I get my supplements, my multivitamins, so that's also a source of magnesium. Again, for me personally, I probably get somewhere around 3,000 milligrams at least on a daily basis. And for your magnesium, stay tuned to my content on Instagram today, and I'll teach you to shop, how to shop for magnesium, but then also eat your cocoa beans that are super great source for magnesium. If it's dark chocolate, make sure that it's super dark. The less cocoa it has, the less magnesium it has. Avocado, 58 milligram, banana has some 37 milligram, pumpkin seeds and flax seed per 1 ounce, 30 grams, 150 for pumpkin seeds and 130 for flax. Sardines and salmon are pretty good sources, sources. For 6 ounces or 200 grams, it's 80 for sardines and 65 for salmon. And almonds and cashews also per 1 ounce will give you somewhere around 80 milligrams. Your magnesium champion is spinach with 1 cup giving 157 milligrams of magnesium. And black beans, if you eat beans, is quite a good source. 1 cup of cooked beans, 120 milligrams of magnesium. So that's it for today for magnesium, about cravings. So make sure you satisfy your magnesium needs. Stay tuned to my Instagram videos today. Learn how to shop and eat your magnesium and start working on that sleep, guys. And as usual, till next time, eat better daily.